The penultimate stage in the construction of a set of complete dentures involves the removal of the excess acrylic resin from the area adjacent to their peripheries. Health and safety regulations require that protective spectacles are worn when using laboratory handpieces. On close inspection, it is possible to observe the junction between the residual flash and the flange of the denture. This junction is most easily seen when viewing from the fit surface of the denture. A Rubinate trimmer or similar stone is used to remove the flash and blend the finishing line into the flange of the denture. Again, it is stressed that the fit surface of the denture must be facing upward so that an accurate assessment of how much acrylic needs to be removed can be made. To trim the denture from this opposite direction may result in the loss of the peripheral contour that had been carefully determined at the impression stage. Here we see the denture with the flash completely removed. Note also that the full width of the denture border has been maintained. Small movements of the handpiece are all that is required to achieve a good result. The action involved is analogous to the peeling of a potato. A similar stone is used to remove the flash from the area of the Fresnel attachment. A flexible rubber stone is now used to reduce the size of the abrasions produced by the Rubinate trimming stone, thus rendering the surface of the acrylic quite smooth. Under no circumstances should any of the finishing stones touch the fit surfaces of the denture. Any surface imperfections on these surfaces are removed with a hand instrument as the very last stage in the finishing process. The upper denture is completed in a similar way to that of the lower. In both cases, care must be taken to avoid contact between the teeth and the finishing stones. Other surface imperfections, such as pimples and residual plaster, are removed with the aid of an ash number 10 tempered instrument. This must be done with utmost care so as not to chip the acrylic teeth. A final light sanding of the palatal surfaces of the dentures is all that is required to complete the pre-polishing stage. Final finishing of the acrylic flanges involves the elimination of the fine surface abrasions of the labial, buccal, palatal and lingual surfaces of the dentures, with the aid of a fine abrasive agent and an assortment of rotary brushes and mops. Let us quickly introduce you to the various different polishing wheels and their functions. A felt cone, which may be used to polish the area palatal and lingual to the cingulae of both upper and lower anterior teeth. A calico mop, which may be used on all of the flanged surfaces of the denture bases. A circular bristle brush, used with a pumice polishing agent to abrade the flanged surfaces. We will now start with a felt cone and the abrasive agent. This consists of a fine pumice powder which is mixed with water to a porridge-like consistency. A liberal amount of pumice is applied to the denture before being pressed against the cone. Constant movement and pressure must be maintained, otherwise a groove may be worn in the surface of the acrylic. It is also possible to use the other end of the polishing cone to polish behind the anterior teeth. Here we see a large circular bristle brush being used to polish the buccal aspects of the denture. Note also that the operator applies firm pressure. He also constantly changes direction of the denture in its relation to the polishing wheel. This avoids the formation of grooves or wear facets in the acrylic. Under no circumstances are any of the polishing wheels or brushes allowed to touch the fit surfaces of the denture, as this ruins the fit of the finished denture. The same rule applies to the teeth, as it is relatively easy to polish away their surface characteristics. A small and thinner brush is used to pumice the palatal aspects to reduce the risk of abrading the teeth. This size of brush is also suitable for pumicing the interdental papillae, located on both buccal and labial aspects of the dentures. A calico mop is then substituted for a bristle brush in order to reduce the size of the pumice abrasions and also the marks left behind by the bristle brushes themselves. To reduce the size of the surface abrasions further, a finer abrasive agent, Tripoli, is used in conjunction with the mop. The same technique and precautions are also applied to this process. The abrasive is suspended in a solid block, which is applied directly to the mop. Although a relatively high shine is obtained by using this agent, by definition it is still classed as an abrasive agent due to the nature of its action. The final stage involves the production of a high gloss on the surface of the denture, with the aid of a polishing agent known as acrylic gloss compound, supplied in block form. The compound is applied in a similar way to that of the Tripoli abrasive agent. The process is defined as polishing in its strictest sense of the word, because superficial melting of the surface layer of acrylic occurs. The acrylic thus flows into the negative surface imperfections so as to create a glass-like finish. The surface of the acrylic teeth may also be involved in this process, as the technique does not involve destructive abrasion. However, care still should be taken to preserve surface detail. Here we see the completed dentures after final application of the acrylic gloss compound. A final inspection of the fit surface is necessary to ensure that they are free from extraneous plaster and pimples of acrylic. The dentures are now ready for the clinical stage of insertion. A face-bore record and wax interocclusal registration will be made so that the dentures can be remounted on the articulator and selective occlusal adjustment undertaken. This adjustment eliminates minor occlusal errors that arise during the clinical stage of jaw registration and during the laboratory stage of denture processing.